It's cold! Achoo! Yuck. My nose is running and it's freezing.
Gee, it's not like you're a fire type or anything.
Isn't this one lonely place? See how deep the snow is.
We're walking on what looks like to be rocks right now. There's barely any snow on this path. What are you talking about?
I haven't seen any other Pokemon for a while either.
Also, my Peril voice sounds a bit like Ash, I just realised.
Maybe we're all alone here. Oh, what's the matter? Well, what's that? What was that? It looked like a Pokemon, but...
Gee, it's almost as if it was a Pokemon.
Did I imagine that? No, I don't think so. I'm sure there was something there.
Or somebody, not something.
I wonder what they were doing in this lonely place. I guess thinking about it won't help us. We should keep moving. Oh! Indigo, look! See that?
Those trees are frozen! All the trees here are frozen. What makes those ones so special?
Wow! The snow is like frozen powder.
You could almost say it was powder snow.
It looks pretty, but
it must be harsh there. This kind of reminds me of this garden centre called Webb's, and I like going there every Christmas to see their Christmas decorations. It kind of looks like Christmas decorations is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, we don't have a choice. We have to get through this place. It will be horribly cold. I'd rather not go if I didn't have to. But hiding out in this area isn't the answer either. We can only go forward. We'll just have to keep our spirits up and keep going, Indigo.
Greetings, citizens of the internet. You can call me Nitro Indigo, and welcome back to my extremely riveting Let's Play Pokémon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. In the last episode, after much turmoil, we climbed Mount Blaze and defeated Moltres, and in this episode we're going into the Frosty Forest. Once again, there is a side path dungeon, but the actual dungeon isn't hard, but the boss, because spoiler alert, as a boss, is quite difficult, and I've run out of items as well. Actually, I think I will go to the side path.
Indigo, are you ready? Which way should we go?
Okay, first I'm going to the snow path.
Okay, let's go!
I think I'll probably just speed up this part. But also this tile set was reused for Blizzard Island and Pokémon Mystery Dungeon Explorers, and the music there is a medley of several pieces of music from Pokémon Mystery Dungeon. And one of the pieces of music in there and one of the things that's remixed in that medley is a piece of music we'll be hearing soon. I think it's in the next dungeon, but I'm not sure. It might be in the dungeon after that. I'll tell you when we get there. Oh no, it's a tiny Azurill. How threatening could this possibly be? Oh. Oh, thanks, Peril. Oh, seeing a nose pass here reminds me. When I was little, I watched an episode of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl where that guy evolves his nose pass into Probopass at Mount Coronet, but I kept mishearing it as Nose Pants and Robo Pants.
What the? Isn't this where we started from? I guess that path we took just loops back to where it started. It looks like we have to get through Frosty Forest to move on. Indigo, let's do our best.
Okay, anyway, let's actually go to Frosty Forest now.
Okay, let's go. It's going to be freezing cold, but let's try our best.
So, this dungeon, despite appearances, there is a distinct lack of ice types. By the way, the stamina band makes the belly go down slower. I understand that this is Generation 3, so there weren't that many ice types, but they could have at least put Sneasel in this dungeon, because Sneasel is a Pokemon that is said to live in forests, and it's a Frosty Forest, and here's an Azurill, which is not an ice type. There's also an Azurill in the aforementioned Blizzard Islands, and by an Azurill I mean several Azurill, an infinite amount of Azurills that can be generated by the randomizer. But there are lots of water type Pokemon in the Ice Dungeon Explorers, but then there's also, you know, actual ice type Pokemon. And this music is really repetitive. And for some reason, the way these trees look now reminds me of like, can't remember what it's called, but there was this dungeon crawler in a fish on Game Gear that was put on 3DS Virtual Console a few years ago, and Official Nintendo Magazine gave it a negative review, and on the in the screenshot they used, they had cacti that looked a bit like these trees, because Forest Dungeons always look weird in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, at least in the early games. In Flora Forest and Gates to Infinity is a very pretty looking dungeon, and I like how they added puzzles in it because it makes the gameplay less mindless, and by it I mean just Gates to Infinity in general, not that one dungeon specifically, even though it does have a puzzle. So the Pokemon you find here are basically the same ones you found in the Snow Path. Not to be confused with the Ice Path, which is a place from a dungeon in Johto. I only really started calling them dungeons after Chuck Conroy did, you know, those like cave areas in main Pokemon games. And to be honest, I think this Let's Play's helped me find my identity, because most of my scripted videos were just kind of me, I always felt a bit underwhelmed with them, and I didn't really like my remixes either because I was using a free program that was really limited. And then during my Title No Let's Play, I don't really like it that much to be honest, because the entire Let's Play I was just trying to be like tessellating hexagons, and I didn't enjoy playing Kirby's Dream Land 3, and Wind Waker I gave up on early on because I screwed something up. So this Let's Play helped me find my identity. It's a game I'm passionate about, so I have things to say about it, and I also specifically started this Let's Play because I wanted to see people talk about a Let's Play by someone who was well experienced with the game. Of course, I also realised a while ago that I was actually quite negative during a lot of my Let's Plays and like criticising them and stuff, but at least I'm actually enjoying playing the game despite all my criticisms. And that realisation was made in that episode of Tessellating Hexagons, when I was watching that episode of Tessellating Hexagons' Let's Play of Wario Land, the Shake Dimension, where he talks about how the appeal of this Let's Play is watching him figure stuff out, such as the legendary accidentally finding a secret map in that one level that led to the Chinese-themed bonus level, and here is a Ditto. I didn't even know Ditto was in this dungeon, but there are also, in this game, transforms the Pokemon into any Pokemon on this floor, but it only really is external, it doesn't copy their moveset for some stupid reason, or their type. Someone has intruded upon the forest. It is enfeebled. The enfeebled flow of the icy winds. Is the intrusion to blame? It must be stopped. For it is to protect the forest. I keep thinking that those lines there are said by different characters than what they actually were. And speaking of Tessellating Hexagons' Wario Land Let's Play, Great Moments in LPing has recently decided to save all their runaway guys for like one video on a Friday and post everything else on 2 videos on a Monday. And I'm kind of glad about that because it makes because all their favouritism is localised in one place now, and that means that Tessellating Hexagons has a high chance of getting on there. Or Lucky 7DX because him failing against Janine's Venomoth deserves to go down in history because this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And here's another Pokemon that isn't an Ice-type, Lairon. I didn't even know that was in this dungeon either. Can you tell I've not played this game in a while? And I don't really like how this looks either because it's a lot browner than I remember. And I think it's supposed to look like sunsets over like the sunset over snow, but it just ends up looking a bit blare, like slush that's got full of dirt and stuff. Also, in most works of fiction, I find the snow really boring. Like, Seekers is a book series I found really boring the first time I read it, but it got even more boring during basically the book 5, where they spend absolutely ages in the Arctic not really doing anything. In fact, most of Seekers is just bears wandering around starving to death, basically. Except not to death, but you know what I mean. And also it took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out that the fire in the sky was supposed to be the Aurora Borealis, by the way. Seekers is a book series I have quite conflicting feelings over. I used to find it boring, but then like last time I read it, which was like 2 years ago, I actually found it quite relaxing. But as another example, in For Myself with Brotherhood, I just kind of stopped paying attention to what was going on during the Briggs arc because it just went on for so long and it was just white snow. How interesting. I don't know why I said it like that, but you know what I mean, I just find snow things boring because there's visual monotony and all that. But for some reason I usually really enjoy doing video games because in like, I kind of like was getting really bored of Ocarina of Time by the time I'd done the Forest Temple, but I quite enjoyed the Ice Cavern. And then like my absolute favourite part of Twilight Princess, and the part that got me to like that game as well, was the Snow Peak Ruins, because it's like a Yetis. It's like a Yetis, what? Because it's like has a really cool concept behind it. It's like a mansion basically, and you have to like get a bunch of keys, and it's inhabited by Yetis. And then like in Minish Cap has the I can't remember what it's called, the ice dungeon in the Minish Cap. Temple of Droplets, that's it, and has the great music and a really interesting puzzles and stuff and all that. And I was going to disable all of Peril's moves except for Ember and Metal Claw. Please use Ember, then you can be like the Dragon Lord. Even though you can't be a dragon type until Generation 6. But, and then also in like, it's not just Zelda games, because like in most video games in general, the ice music is really nice. Maybe not this game, but more like in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, or Pokemon X and Y. Also, by the way, it says that the reason why Snowball City is always snowy is because of cold air coming out of the gym, which is the exact opposite of how freezers work. And then like in Kirby's Wii Excursion, as I like to call it, the White Wafers, that's what it's called. That has a really, that is a really pretty place because it has like really nice music, and I also like the whole ice cream-like aesthetic is the best way I can put it. Like everything's made of hexagons, and they're all lots of colour, and it's all really colourful. And the like the pop flowers, that's what they're called, are like hexagons, and they open up and it looks really pretty. And like a better version of Digimon World Data Squad. Even though I've never actually played that game. I saw Caspasaurus' review of it, or Casper as he now goes by. But like in this game, it's kind of the exception because Frosty Forest isn't really the most exciting place. Even if the water does look nice, it would be quite cold to stand in it though. So don't stand in ice water, kids. You'll get hypothermia and die. And other moral lessons from Nitro Indigo. Also, snow, it raises the movement speed of Ice-type Pokemon. I don't know why it's here because there's no Ice-type Pokemon in this part of the dungeon, but there might be. But you, well, there is a way to. Never mind. I was about to spoil something you could do in the post-game, basically, before changing my mind. And anyway, the Metangs here only know takedown, even though they should have learned other moves by now. And this is just so fitting for an ice dungeon, isn't it? I mean, the music here is nicer than it was in the first part. Yeah, I don't really like the Red Rescue. I can't really remember how the Blue Rescue Team version of this music goes, but I think I prefer it. And I was about to be an Overgrown, then I healed, so I'm not an Overgrown now. And Peril grew to level 17.
Yay! I leveled up!
For some reason, I'm just like imagining, like, what if the next Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game, when you got loads of, like, a really high stat boost on level up, it said, oh, baby, like in Earthbound. Even though I just kind of got bored of watching Chunkacorn's Earthbound Let's Play. And I forgot Rhyhorn was in this dungeon, but it's still not an ice type. And, oh, I was worried I was going to die just there, but I thought it was Fury Attack, but no, it was Horn Attack. Because they have the same animation and the same sound effects, so it always, like, trips me up. And you actually use a super effective move. It's a Christmas miracle. You see, it's funny because this is a winter dungeon, even though it's September. And, I was just thinking, like, there was this website I used to go on called Chicken Smoothie, which is, based in New Zealand. And one year for Christmas, they decided to release some items that were like snowmen, but they were made of sand, so they were sandmen, but not the Sandman, the mythological figure that brings dreams. And the only reason I know what the Sandman is because there was this game on this website called Nitro that was about sleepwalking people, and you had to drop sand to get them to walk in the right direction, so it was like Lemmings, but not.
That didn't work out. This is as tough as we expected, but let's keep trying our best and getting through this, Indigo. But anyway, and so, like, when I watched Rise of the Guardians, I was like, oh, yeah. And so I kind of had, so I
wasn't really as confused by the Sandman in Rise of the Guardians as other people were. And by the way, Rise of the Guardians is one of my favourite movies, but I have nothing to say about it. Does anyone else have that problem with anything? But anyway, I was talking about but they basically on Chicken Smoothie, they released a bunch of basically a bunch of like items that were like typical Christmas items, but they were like beach themed instead. So I got to wonder how many other things have done like a Southern Hemisphere Christmas. Like once on r/Nintendo, there was a thread about what games are like Christmas, and someone recommended Super Mario Sunshine for people who lived in the Southern Hemisphere. But does anyone else have any other ideas? Like, I can picture like a level in a video game where there's like penguins on some tropical island, because yes, those do actually exist. Tropical penguins, not tropical islands in general. And you basically have to like, help them prepare for space Christmas, except it's the summer. Or they're on the equator, so there aren't any seasons, but you know what I mean.
We sure have travelled far into this forest. I think we'll be able if we can get through this part. It shouldn't be far. Let's keep going. Huh? Indigo, did you just say something?
No, that was ellipses.
I didn't think so. I thought I heard a voice. I must have imagined it.
Turn back. You may not pass. Oh look, Gandalf.
Who's there?
You are forbidden to pass. If you persist in trying to pass, then so be it. But only after you have defeated me.
Ow! It's too bright! The ice around us is reflecting this light.
I am Articuno, the Warder of Ice. Don't you mean Warden? Those that enter the forest, I shall destroy with all my might. Yeah, it always bothered me that Articuno lives on top of a forest instead of a mountain like the other two. Let us begin. And also, have you noticed, like, I forgot to mention this earlier, but besides the fact that between the cutscene and the gameplay, it seems like this whole place changed colour, it's, like, have you noticed that last time we were in a volcano, so this time we're in the opposite of volcano, which is a tundra, so it's fire and ice juxtaposition. Anyway, I am starting a restore point here because Articuno's powder snow can be deadly. Like, I've seen an OHKO Pokemon that resist it. That's how deadly it is. First of all, I'm going to use poison powder. And this is why I changed, I made Peril only able to use fire and ember and metal claw. I even said fire and ember, and once again, Timeless Wonders Fire and Thunder off to save the world. I've made this reference last episode. But since I made the last episode, I have been going on yet another Power Rangers nostalgia trip, even though, just to clarify, Time Force was not a part of my childhood. But several other series were, and I do consider Time Force to be unironically good because I watched it on Netflix. Well, it's not unironically good because I watched it on Netflix, but I'm just clarifying how I watched it. Here it is, see that? And I'm going to reload this restore point, and I'm going to fast forward until we actually beat the boss. Oh my goodness! Oh, well, that was going well until it didn't. Yes! I grew to level 19, by the way. I did it. My level went up.
Please, Articuno. We have to get through, no matter what it takes. Please, let us pass.
No, I could not allow your passage.
Why? Why can't we pass?
The frigid forest air. It has warmed considerably in recent times.
Well, warmed up?
I'm still freezing, but you're still a fire type. The flow of frigid air has been disturbed in the forest. Snow has started to melt. Snow is melting. Snow that has never melted before. Oh no, global warming. You're blaming it on 2 children, probably. This has never happened, even once. Then you appeared in the forest. Correlation does not equal causation. Is this not your doing?
Well, we don't have anything to do with that. It's a coincidence. Please, Articuno, hear me out. It isn't our fault that the snow started melting here. It's just not here. Natural calamities are taking place everywhere right now. The forest frigid airflow would have been disturbed even if we hadn't come.
Is that all? You expect me to believe that?
Wah!
Enough of your foolish talk. Prepare for your end. We just had this boss battle, Articuno. Now please sit it down and calm down. Stop it. Absol! There is nothing false in what they said. Calamities are indeed occurring in nature everywhere. Is that true? Yes, I have the ability to sense natural disasters. The calamities taking place now are of a special nature. I've never experienced such before. So, there are calamities besides this. Fine. I will choose to believe you. Okay, I believe you. You may pass.
Articuno!
However,
Wow!
you must try to prevent the calamities from spreading. That's what we were... Actually, weren't already doing that. What am I talking about? I remember this. I'm counting on you.
Yep, we promise, Articuno! Whoa, that was too close. Thank you. You saved us.
Rather than saying thanks, focus on stopping the calamities before they worsen. If they are left unchecked, worse will befall us. My instinct warns me so. I sensed the terrible power of the natural calamities. I was led here by my feelings of foreboding. I think it would be best if we combined forces. I will join you.
Huh? You will? Really?
Really. To put an end to the calamities, cooperation is vital. Let me lend you my powers.
Thank you, Absol.
Absol, join the team. Give a nickname to Absol. I haven't really thought of a nickname for Absol, so I was going to call him Edgy, but that just seems a bit stupid. So how about you can't go back and name Pokemon later, so I can't ask you lot for suggestions. I know this is I'll name you after another edgy character then, even though that character is female and this Absol I imagine is male, but you know what I mean. Is the name Tempest okay? Yes. And so, after getting through Frosty Forest, Indigo's team headed further north. The more they advanced, the harsher the conditions became.
Thank you.